And my thought was always, because I'm basic, was like, why don't you just take them shopping?
That part.
Because if this person came off the street
and that's all they have,
and all they have is the little doomy dress that they wore to the club, well, that's all she gonna have on Sunday morning too.
Right.
What's up, all my truth seekers? This is Pastor Jacob with another biblical first responder video. This is Witness Wednesday. So I need you to do everything that helps this video move. Drive it in that algorithm. Help me out. I appreciate you. Now, I've done several videos about modesty, about dressing in modesty. I talked to the men. I also talked to the women, right? Now, in this clip here, and I do like this guy. He has a podcast. I don't know him well, but there are some things he says that I'm in full agreement with. Yes and amen. But this particular clip here, no.
And my thought was always, because I'm basic, was like, why don't you just take them shopping?
That part.
Because if this person came off the street
and that's all they have,
and all they have is the little doomy dress that they wore to the club, well, that's all she gonna have on Sunday morning too.
Right.
And Mr. Horndog Pastor, if you can't be pure enough to see her soul because you see her hips, this is not her problem, it's yours. And now you're gonna condemn her for having a body? Like, she can't even be safe in church with her own body?
Right.
Because you too weak? Oh, it's just, we just gotta, let's not put the women on the front row and make sure they all
give them a lap cloth.
Yeah, they're all covered up and all that kind of stuff. It's like, guys ain't working with that much. I just think women need more protection in church.
I disagree that I, as a pastor, or any male pastor, needs to take a woman shopping because they don't know how to dress when they come to church. Now, mind you, yes, if they go into the club and they're clubbing, that's their lifestyle. Yes, that may be all they have. So no, right at the beginning, right out start, you don't want to jump on them and condemn them for what they're wearing. However, as long as they're coming to church, I have a right and I have the responsibility to teach them about dressing modestly. That is what a pastor is supposed to do, warn and teach.
Now, he wants women to adorn themselves. Okay? So adornment's not bad. But that adornment, good works, godliness, a quiet and submissive spirit. I want women to adorn themselves with proper clothing. That tells me that there is clothing that's improper for a Christian woman. All right?
Warn you of the problems with dressing immodestly and teach you how to dress modestly, what it means to dress modestly, what it means to cover up, what it means to wear things that are appropriate to your body and your shape. That is what a pastor is supposed to do. Now, do we beat them over the head and condemn them? No, by no means. But, in the old church, they used to take out the cloth and cover them up. Well, guess what? Is that wrong? Absolutely not. You might call it old-fashioned, or in this clip, this guy calls it shaming. No, that's not shaming. Cover them up. Cover them up, absolutely, because not only is her soul in jeopardy, not only does her soul need God, not only does her soul need warning and teaching, but my soul as well. Because guess what? As long as you're a man, it doesn't mean that, you can be filled with the Spirit unless you have the gift that God gave Paul and others like him, that you can see a woman and don't think nothing of it. That wasn't a gift God gave to everybody. So then we need to recognize what we're wearing in the church, men and women. We need to recognize what we're wearing in the church so that we do not cause others to stumble.
Women, you need to understand something. Men are not as dumb as you think they are. My wife and I have a friend in Illinois, and she's a very pretty lady. Very pretty. If she walked in that door right now, Every man in this room, if he turned and saw her, this is what they would say. Well, that's a very pretty lady. That's a very elegant lady. That's a beautiful lady. And that's what they would think. But ladies, there are also women that aren't half as attractive as that lady I just described to you, either in their face or in their body. And they could walk in that door, and the moment every man heard the door open and he looked over there, if he was a godly man, he would have to go like this. Because it's not beauty, it's sensuality. And even though you can't exactly write down the rules and put it all on paper, when you see it, you know it.
I do agree that the pastor has a standard he has to set. That I don't think it makes him a horn dog to ask the women to cover up. Mind you, many of the times it is the women, the elder women in the church who know better, who go and cover these young ladies up when they're showing too much or they're revealing too much. This is what they do. This is their ministry because they're looking out for their pastor, and not only their pastor, but for the other men. What about the other men in the church? So you worry about the pastor being a horn dog. What about the deacon and the other men in the church who are watching this woman with this, who's scantily clad, with this little bit of clothes on? She needs to be covered up for their sakes.
I mean, that's just logic. There is clothing that is improper for a Christian woman. Now, he says, the clothing must be modest. Modest. This is very important. It's literally proper clothing with modesty. My wife has a really good thing that she says, and she goes, if your clothing is a frame for your face, from which the glory of God is to shine, it's proper. If it draws attention to your face. If your clothing draws attention to your body, to outline it, to make it noticed, then it's sensual. It's sensual. What you're doing is wrong.
So no, it is not the pastor's obligation to go take this woman to the store and shop for her. He has a wife. Now, if his wife takes that woman to shop, then that's a whole other thing. That's a whole different video. But you said the pastor's wrong for having the women in the church to cover up. That's wrong. I have a soul to keep too. Every pastor has a soul to keep too. And the last I checked, pastors are men. And men are attracted to women. They have to be mindful of that when they're coming to church, because there are men there who may have had problems with pornography. There are men there who may have had problems with womanizing and different things in their past. That if somebody's an alcoholic, you're not going to fill your refrigerator and your cupboards and your tables full of alcohol and invite them into your house. You're going to respect that they had that problem, and you're probably going to put those things away. If somebody was a smoker, you're not going to invite them to the house and have everybody around smoking. You're probably going to respect the fact that they don't smoke anymore and put those things away. So why is it that when a woman comes to church and she's dressed where she's showing herself or displaying her body, that we don't say, hey, cover that up, give her the cloth and cover her up? What's wrong with that? She's going to learn. Either she's going to leave and say, I don't want to go to that church because they won't let me dress like the strip club I used to come from. Or she's going to say, oh man, I felt so convicted that I wore this little bit that they gave me this thing to cover up in. Next Sunday, I'll make sure I have a dress. I'll make sure I go out and buy something that looks decent for me to wear to church. Why is it the pastor's responsibility to go out and buy something for this young lady to wear when she spent her money to buy the short skirts and the short dresses and the dresses with the cleavage? She can spend her money to buy a modest dress. Y'all need to stop with this stuff. Y'all got too much influence over different people with these podcasts and thousands and hundreds of people listening to you to put stuff out there like this. What Bible are you reading that says it is okay for a woman to come dressed immodestly and that it is the pastor's obligation to go take her shopping? or just to let her come in and be half naked in front of everybody and don't say nothing. That's wrong. That is wrong. That's wrong, brother. I absolutely disagree with you on this point. I'd love to come on your show and talk about it. And I will say the same thing I'm telling you right now. Maybe there's some context I missed because all I got is this clip. But if I missed any context, please give me the rest. Because I still don't see how you could come to the point that the pastor should take this young lady shopping. No, the pastor has a right to teach her what Paul taught in Titus, to teach these women to dress modestly. The same thing Peter taught, dress modestly. Let your beauty come from the inside out, not all on the outside. This is what the apostles taught. The end of Acts chapter 2, verse 38, I believe. Somewhere towards the end of Acts chapter 2, Luke says they continued in the apostles' doctrine. They continued in what the apostles taught. The brand new church continued in what the apostles taught. We must continue in what the apostles taught. And the apostles taught modesty. And pastor, you are absolutely doing the right thing to teach modesty. Now, again, don't beat them over the head. Maybe you have a women's ministry. Maybe you have your wife or someone dealing with the women who can suggest different things, or maybe take them shopping if that's the way God shows you. You, pastor, are not obligated to go take no other woman shopping but your wife or your daughter. That's it. That's your only obligation. If they don't live in your house, you are not obligated to take them shopping anywhere. Nor should you. That's how stuff gets started. No, thank you. No. I hear what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I hear you. But I don't think that you gave a sufficient answer. I don't think that was no. I think we teach them what to wear, and I think it is absolutely right that we ask them to cover up when they come to church. Absolutely. And if they don't like it, if they don't like God's standard, that is God's standard, not mine. That's God's standard, not the preachers. That's God's standard that you come dress modestly. Teach them how to dress modestly. And then, hopefully, they'll learn, they'll hear the teaching, and they'll see how everyone else is dressed. And that is why, ladies, it pays for you to dress modestly, because there are other women in the church looking at you. There are other women in the church watching you. So then if you're dressed modestly, they'll say, she ain't got no cleavage showing. She ain't got no dress way up her legs and you can see all her legs. And she ain't got no dress that's form-fitting that you see every crease and crevice in her body. Let me go see if I can find me a dress like that. That's a solution. That's an answer. These more seasoned, more godly women go to these younger women and go up beside them and take them under their wing and teach them how to live modestly, how to love their husband. That's what Titus chapter 2 says, not what you're talking about. I pray that y'all get some value out of this video. I pray that you understand it. I hear what this guy's saying. I do not agree. I respect him. I just don't agree. So, yeah, that's that. Let me know what you think. Leave it down in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I love you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. God bless you.
Ladies, this is, I've been giving your husbands a lot of tasks. Let me give you one. Seek to find out what this means and go wherever the Lord shows you. There is nothing more attractive than a woman who has this look of wisdom and discretion and nobility and simplicity. Simplicity. It's just a simple beauty about her.